That's how we know we're born again. We have His nature. We're united to Him. It's an extension of His love in us to others. So, the first way that John deals with the connection between God's love and our love for people, God's love for us and our love for people, is to say that His nature is to be love, and our loving and that nature connect at the point of the new birth. When you are born again, that love becomes your love for others. That life becomes your life. You're not dead anymore, you're alive. You're not selfish anymore, you're loving. You're a child of God, a chip off the old block. That's the first point. Here's the second one. Namely, this text doesn't just deal with the love of God as an expression of His nature. It deals with it as a manifestation of His activity. So verses 9 and 10 and 11. Let's read that. In this, the love of God was made manifest. So there it is. That's the word I'm focusing on. In this, the love of God is made manifest among us. God sent His only Son into the world so that we might live through Him. In this is love. Not that we have loved God, but that He loved us and sent His Son to be the propitiation for our sins. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to love one another. So in John's mind, the great manifestation of the love of God for us is the sending of His Son into the world. Specifically to do what? To be, verse 10, to be the propitiation for our sins. What does that mean? Propitiation, meaning God is angry at me in my sin. He is just, He is holy, and I am a sinner. I have disregarded Him and belittled Him and neglected Him and scorned Him and shamed Him and lived all kinds of ways that are totally out of sync with the infinite worth of His glory, and I deserve His wrath. And He knows that, and if He were only a God of justice and only a God of wrath, I would be finished. But the amazing thing here is He's not only that. The chief manifestation of His love is that now He sends His Son to be the wrath bearer and wrath remover. That's the meaning of propitiation. When a person is propitiated, the anger that they have goes away. So God's anger toward you, it's gone because of Christ. Now get the full force of this. God the Father unilaterally removed His own wrath by sending His Son. God's wrath is dealt with by God's love through God's Son. And John says that is the greatest manifestation of love that ever was. 1 John 3:16, by this we know love, that He laid down His life for us. So now there's not just sending and propitiation. Here He nails it How did it happen? Answer, He laid down His life. He died. He died intentionally. By this we know love. By this we know love. This is 1 John 3:16. By this we know love, that He laid down His life. I lay down my life. Nobody takes it from me. I lay it down of my own accord. And if I lay it down, I can take it again. Good Friday and Easter are the choice of Jesus Christ. He does what He does intentionally. And He chose, in covenant with the Father, that He would lay down His life so that we would not perish, but have everlasting life. Notice something else He stresses in verse 10. In this is love, not that we have loved God, but that He loved us and sent His Son. What's He guarding against there? In this is love, not... Why is He... What's this not for? What does He see in us that we're prone to do that He's saying, don't do that? What is it? In this is love. And this is love, the nature of love and the origin of love. It isn't in you. Maybe that propensity is rooted right in the great commandment. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind and all your strength. This is the great commandment. We might be prone to think, oh, my love. That's the issue here. My love. Got to produce love here. Love starts here. Love is defined here. And He's saying, no. This is love, not that you loved, but that He loved and sent His Son. Love starts with God. Love is defined by God. All of your love is an echo and derivative from that love. Don't get it turned around. I got to love Him so that He'll love me. He's just pleading with us. Don't make your love the definition of love, and don't make your love the beginning of love. It isn't defined by you. It doesn't begin with you. It is defined by God sending Jesus, and it begins with God's nature. So let's summarize where we've been so far in these two ways that John deals with the connection between God's love for us and our love for people. The first way was, it's His nature to love, and when we're born again, we have that nature within us, and our old selfishness is replaced by that love, and our old deadness is replaced by that life. And then the second way was, there is a manifestation of that love, and that manifestation is, at its paramount expression, the sending of the Son into the world to lay down His life, to become the punishment-removing, wrath-absorbing, justice-satisfying propitiation for our sins. And when that happens, the new birth doesn't just look at it from outside and copy it. Look at verse 11. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to love one another. What does ought mean there? How does that ought work? If you forgot everything I've said so far and everything He's written in the previous 5 verses,